Hello and welcome to Business Arena on TVP World. I'm your host, Marie Cato. Join me for the latest business headlines of the day. Recent industrial production figures for Germany have proven a pleasant surprise, but do they really signal a turnaround? The statistic is certainly at odds with the numbers coming out of Central and Eastern Europe as the region continues to suffer from the spillover of Germany's malaise.
New data from the Status shows German industrial output rose by 1.5% between October and November of 2024. That's a full percentage point above the 0.5% expected by most economists, leading to much excitement among some experts. But most say it's still too early to speak of an upturn.
We've had several false dawns, but it's in general, we have not seen a convincing rebound, and it's too early to say that the last November was such an event.
If we take a look at the broader picture, it becomes very clear that German industry is in a sustained downtrend since at least 2021. So the November numbers alone do little to change this perception. Countries in the CEE and the Visegrad 4 in particular have been adversely affected by this slowdown, as Germany remains their top trading partner.
Germany matters a lot for the region.
By comparing November figures, we can clearly see which country's economy is most vulnerable to the German downturn. Year on year, Hungary took the biggest hit with 2.9%, on par with Germany, followed by the Czech Republic. Slovakia saw some growth, but below expectations, while Poland is still in the fight, with a 1.1% increase in output. Hungary's, the Czech Republic's, and to a large extent Slovakia's results underscore their reliance on the ailing German economy, particularly on its auto industry. Poland's auto sector has also been seriously affected, with exports to Germany down 10% year on year in the first 3 quarters of 2024. But Poland is much larger, has a much bigger internal market and a much more diversified economy, a luxury its southern neighbors just can't fall back on.
Because if you are small, it's more difficult to build the necessary scale and necessary capacities in several sectors, and it's just tempting to rely on one sector or a cluster or one cluster.
Long-term, innovation and diversification will be key for the regional economy. In the near term, however, there still is hope. External demand could pick up in 2025, and Europe's internal market could strengthen as the effects of recent monetary easing work their way through the economy. So there's nothing to celebrate right now, but there's also no reason to panic.
So we've just heard a report on industrial production figures in our Central Eastern European region, and it's clear that economic dependence on Germany remains. So what comes next in this state of affairs? We'll get to the bottom of the latest industrial production data with our guest right after the news, so stay with us. Poland's high-value export industries ranging from clean tech to defense have quietly become a force in Europe's competitive marketplace. However, a new report from the Polish Economic Institute highlights a slight downturn in 2024.
Clean tech, space, and med tech. These are some of the pivotal areas Poland stands out in according to the latest figures. And these areas are crucial for bolstering Europe's competitive edge. A 5-year comparison shows explosive gains across the board. Defense exports shot up by 487%, influenced by military support for Ukraine, while cleantech grew by 224%. Combined sales from these 6 areas, including the space, biotech, medtech, and pharmaceutical segments, reached nearly 40 billion euros in 2023. Crucially, these sectors' share of Poland's total exports climbed from 7% in 2019 to 11.2% in 2023, before easing back to 10.5% in 2024, January through October. Where's this slight decline coming from?
Pierwsza rzecz jest związana z tym, że
overall, the global manufacturing sector is facing a challenging situation. On the one hand, the economic downturn hasn't fully affected Western Europe yet. But on the other hand, inflation has already eased, wages are still rising, and from a business perspective across Europe, this is usually the toughest time in the economic cycle.
Despite the recent slip, Poland holds a strong position in several key industries. Clean tech alone makes up nearly 10% of the EU 27's exports, while defence, bolstered by military aid to Ukraine, has climbed from 1 to 3% of EU exports in just a few years. What can we expect in 2025?
There won't be a significant export recovery. If we look at our main trading partners, especially Germany, which accounts for a third of Poland's goods exports, any recovery that does occur will likely pick up at a slow pace.
The long-term trajectory for Poland's high-value exports looks promising, though changing market demands and Europe's broader economic shifts will determine how quickly these sectors bounce back from the current slowdown.
After having taken a few steps back, the Polish nuclear energy project is finally moving forward again. At a meeting on Friday morning with representatives of the Polish nuclear power plant and local government officials worked out principles of effective cooperation and setting standards for information exchange between parties involved in the implementation of the project to build the first nuclear power plant in Pomerania.
The government recently passed a resolution to provide 14 million euros for the construction of the power plant, and work is proceeding according to schedule.
It's both a challenge and an opportunity for our region. We're going to need to build all the infrastructure required by a project of this type. If this power plant is going to be built, we need to start with the entire infrastructure necessary for its construction. And once the plant is complete, it'll provide a source of income through financing and taxes and contribute to the development of our commune, the county and the region as a whole.
There's going to be a constant demand for workers, so we're expecting the project to be a major driver of development for all of Wejherowo County.
We're talking about roads, railroads and more. These people are going to need housing, schools, sewage and police departments. We're going to need crisis management infrastructure. All of this is interconnected.
Poland's ambitious central transportation hub, known as the CPK, has reached a significant milestone. The Mazowieckie region has issued a location decision, moving the massive infrastructure project closer to reality. This step finalizes the planned location for the project, allowing land acquisition and construction to proceed. The central transportation hub is set to become a key aviation and railway hub in Europe, integrating high-speed rail and air travel to connect Poland with international markets. The facility will be built between Warsaw and Łódź, replacing the country's current main airport in Warsaw. CPK has faced mixed public opinion and legal challenges, including concerns from residents and environmental groups. At the end of 2024, the government approved the CPK multi-year program, guaranteeing funding of nearly 29 billion euros for the entire project. The issuance of the location decision allows the next stages of the project to move forward, including acquiring land, finalizing designs and beginning construction. Once operational, the hub is expected to handle 34 million passengers annually, making it one of the largest infrastructure developments in Poland's history. The Polish economy holds great potential for innovation, which unfortunately remains largely untapped. That's why the government has announced a new round of funding to boost innovation among small and medium-sized enterprises.
At first glance, this might look like a standard sticker you'd find on fruits and vegetables. But actually, it's a fruit of Polish innovation. Produced by the fresh inset startup, the sticker is infused with 1-MCP, a substance that naturally occurs in a gas form and blocks ethylene receptors, delaying fruit ripening.
We managed to produce or bind the gas in the form of a solid substance, a powder with parameters that allow the active molecule to be released in response to moisture. This moisture is naturally generated by the respiration process of fruits and vegetables.
Now used worldwide, introducing Vider Plus might not have been possible without government funding. To fuel further innovation, The Ministry of Funds and Regional Policy has announced a new round of the EU-funded Smart Path programme, an innovation funding initiative for small and medium-sized Polish enterprises.
Today, the strength of the economy in Poland largely depends on our innovation, which builds our economic sovereignty.
Worth some 300 million euros, this is the first of 4 editions of the programme set to launch this year, with each project eligible to receive up to 35 million euros in funding. 4 key areas are prioritised: energy efficiency, digitisation, biotechnology and artificial intelligence.
These are all sectors of the economy that have the potential for innovation, and at the same time there is domestic demand in the Polish market and then in the European market for innovations in these areas.
The minister also announced several improvements to the scheme, including reduced bureaucracy, more transparency and a consulting process for companies at 3 stages of development. Through these and several other measures, the ministry is hopeful that in the next decade, Poland will find itself among the top 10 most innovative countries in the EU.
And that's all for our business news updates today. For more business stories, check out tvpworld.com.